Let's take a look. We're going to create our new worksheet. The first icon in the bottom next to our existing sheet that's called Sales by Customer will make it possible to start over with our second visualization. It should be called Sheet 2. If you can't find it there, there's also a little button on top where you can choose New Worksheet. And if I'm not mistaken, the people using a Windows computer can also use the shortcut Ctrl+M. So Ctrl+M should also be a new worksheet. In one of the three ways, open this new sheet and let's take a look at our different date possibilities. If I take a look at my Show Me, you'll see there are definitely some line charts available. A line chart in general works with a date. On the left side, you'll see that we have two dates available. You can always recognize a date by looking at this little calendar symbol it shows in front of it. This will mean that it recognizes a date actually as, I'm typing it right now, something like this in your underlying data. Date looks something like this. It doesn't really matter that it's typed day, day, month, month, year, 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 because Tableau recognizes a number of formats to really see that it's an actual date. So from the moment Tableau recognizes in your underlying data that it's an actual date, it will always show this date icon in front of it. What happens or what's different with dates? Well, if I drag it into my visualization and I'm going to drop it on my rows shelf, you'll see that by default, Tableau only shows the year value and not your entire date. Okay, that is basically because if you look very carefully in front of year, you'll see this little plus icon appearing. That is because every single date by default is a hierarchy. That means you can drill down by clicking on the little plus icon to see all of the available elements within this field. Of course, year, quarter, month, and day. What if I'm not interested in quarter? Well, it's as simple as removing an element of your hierarchy that's not interesting for you. By dragging it out, you can drop it anywhere on the left to just remove it from your visualization. The same can happen with day, for example. If you don't want it, you can just remove it. Tableau is smart enough to understand and to remember the way your data is related to each other. So you can also just start flipping things around and changing the location. Tableau, it doesn't really matter for him what the position of your data is. So good to remember, a date is always special. It will always by default be a hierarchy. And you can basically choose the elements within the hierarchy that you find interesting for your visualization at that point. Let's make it visual again by dragging my sum sales to the columns, but something weird happens. Well, Tableau thinks that in my current sheet, because I'm using a date, it by default needs to use a line. That's not really what's going on. So on the left side, you'll see something that's called your marks card. In this marks card, you'll see this drop down called automatic. If you click on it, you'll see separate different ways of visualizing this existing data. If I hover over my visualization, you'll see that it shows me some more information on these data points. This is called your tooltip. And to give you an example, if I hover over January 2016, the value is 14,237. If I go to my marks card on the left again and use this dropdown, change it to a bar, I'm not changing my values because my January 2016 is exactly the same. I'm just changing the visual representation of this value. I hope that's clear for everyone. So if I choose a line again, this dot is still in the same location. It's just visually shown in a different way. That's what this dropdown will change. It will not change the data that is shown, purely how it became visual. So good to remember regarding dates. A date is always a hierarchy. You can keep the elements that you find interesting. And if it doesn't show up in the best way, it's most likely because of this little drop down on the left side. But we talked about line charts. So let's clear our sheet and create an actual line chart to check the evolution of our sales, for example. And let's make it easy for ourselves. By clicking on order date, I just cleared my entire sheet. I select order date, and by using Command on the Mac or Control on the Windows, select sales as well. By selecting these two and going to our Show Me option again, we'll see two line possibilities. The first one is called, if you briefly read the description at the bottom of Show Me, you'll see that it says lines continuous. The one that is highlighted in orange is called lines discrete. Discrete and continuous are one of the most important elements within Tableau, so we're going to focus on that in the next sheet as an example. You would think that I'm going to choose for the highlighted one, but basically the left one, the lines continuous one, is the best one at this moment, but I'll explain later why. So if you click on this one, the left one, and close Show Me, what do we see? Of course, as expected, first of all, only an overview for every single year. That is because we are using hierarchies, and by default, Tableau shows only the year level. If we go to our year order date on top, drill down by using the little plus icon, you'll see that it uses, you can specify the detail of the data you are interested in.